Hello, and welcome. I am Light, and this is my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the disappearance of two brothers. What makes these particular disappearances strange is that they happened 10 years apart in a very similar location in Wasilla, Alaska. Before we get started, if you would please give this video a thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps my videos to be seen and shared. And if you are not subscribed and you would like to, please do so. That'll help you be notified when my content goes live. Let's get started on this, shall we? On this channel, we often discuss people who have gone missing, who have vanished without a trace, disappeared off the face of the planet. But I don't think we've ever discussed two siblings who have disappeared from virtually the same place, but 11 years apart. So today we're going to talk about Michael Palmer, who disappeared on June 4th, 1999, and his brother, Chucky Palmer, who disappeared on April 10th, 2010. What could have happened to the two brothers? Was it just incredibly bad luck for the Palmer family to lose two sons to strange circumstances? Or is there something or someone else responsible in Alaska for their disappearance? As Chris, their other brother, said after Chucky went missing, two brothers aren't supposed to go missing from the same family. So let's just talk a tiny bit about Wasilla, Alaska, which is where the brothers came from. Wasilla is the 6th largest city in Alaska. It is located on the northern point of Cook Inlet, and as of 2019, the estimated population was 10,838 souls. It is named after a local chief. First, we're going to discuss the disappearance of Michael Palmer. Michael was 15 years old, and he had spent the night at a friend's house in Wasilla on June 4th, 1999. He snuck out of the house and attended a graduation party with 3 of his friends near the Meadow Lake subdivision just outside of town. It was reported that Michael had drank a few beers at the party, but he did not become noticeably intoxicated. At about 4 a.m., Michael and his 3 friends left the party and were riding their bikes home together, when, according to his friends, Michael started lagging behind them and soon dropped out of sight. He was last seen on Pittman Road in the direction of his family's home. His home was approximately 9 miles from where the party was held. Michael's friends stopped and waited for him at the 7-Eleven on Parks Highway, but eventually gave up and assumed that he had just gone home by himself. But he didn't go home, and he never made it home. His mother reported him missing at 3 p.m. on June 5th, 11 hours after he had last been seen. The bicycle that Michael had been using that night, which he had borrowed from a friend, was later found in the Little Susitna River, which runs roughly parallel to the Pittman Road and Silver Drive intersections. Tracker dogs could not trace his scent at this spot. Then, out of the blue, Michael's wet and muddy high-top Converse sneakers were also found near a private runway for a homeowner's personal aircraft. It was the troopers that said the bicycle they pulled from the river was the one Michael was riding, but his family denied that, and they said that it was a different bike. This confused the situation. While divers searched the river, about 50 searchers combed the nearby woods, and troopers interviewed the teenagers who had been at the party. Some reports speculated that Michael may have been beaten by an unknown suspect or suspects while riding his bicycle. A local youth claimed he witnessed Michael being attacked and shot on a bridge, but later he admitted that he had made up that story. Michael's father had a bad feeling. He was skeptical about the 3 friends' story from the night Michael went missing, so he hired 2 different private investigators to look into things. One of the investigators left town because she had been threatened, and the other one uncovered rumors that Michael had never left the party and was the victim of a murder or a kidnapping. However, nothing could be substantiated. Other rumors said that Michael may have fallen into the river and died of hypothermia. However, it sure was strange that Michael's muddied sneakers were discovered at an airfield. Then in April of 2010, Michael's brothers, Charles, Chucky Palmer, who was 30 years old, and Chris, who was 32, went on a trip to the Talkeetna Mountains in Alaska with their father, Chuck Palmer Sr., and 2 friends. This was almost 11 years after Michael had vanished. The group had parked their cars on Mastodon Road and were going to ride some snowmobiles, which are called snow machines in Alaska, to a cabin near Sheep Creek. On Saturday, April 10th, the handlebar on Chris's snow machine snapped off, forcing him to stay behind at the cabin while everyone else went on a trip through the woods. Ordinarily, Chris would have been riding with his younger brother Chucky. Chris said, "I'm usually the last rider out there to make sure nobody got left behind." But that day, Chucky brought up the rear. The group of men was heading back to the cabin on the main trail, but at around 7:15 p.m., Chucky became separated from them, and he disappeared. He wasn't a strong rider compared to the others. Chris believed that the others were riding too fast for Chucky to keep up. Chucky had dressed appropriately for the cold weather, but he didn't have survival gear, or a GPS device, or food or water. He was a father to 3 daughters, a 9-year-old and twin 10-year-olds, and was last seen west of Mastodon Road near Bald Mountain. He was reported missing 12 hours later, early on the morning of April 11th. An extensive search of the area turned up no sign of him, although searchers did find a snow machine in deep snow, about 12 miles from the cabin. He had apparently left the main trail and gone off on a side trail. Then he got stuck in the soft snow. As you've heard many times in these type of cases, weather hampered the search from the very beginning. A trooper helicopter could only get up in the air on some of the days, and deep, wet snow made travel difficult for the searchers on snow machines. Sergeant Troy Shuey is quoted as saying, "We got over 28 inches of snow since the search started." The official search was called off after a few days on a Wednesday, April 15th, and no trace of Chucky was ever found. Nothing. He was presumed to have perished from exposure and was declared legally dead in April of 2011. Around his snow machine, there didn't seem to be any footprints. Now, how is it that somebody gets stuck in snow and then there's no footprints? Chris spent 4 days searching for his brother. He was snow machining in the foothills of Bald Mountain with other volunteers. There were 3 times when it reminded him of driving Wasilla's back roads 11 years ago looking for Michael. He's quoted as saying, "I never thought I'd have to deal with this ever again. True brothers aren't supposed to go missing from the same family." So, what do you think? What could have happened? And if you've noticed in both of these stories, both of them lagged behind the rest of the group. If the first story is even true. That happens often in one of these stories. The person who disappears gets separated from their group. What do you think? Go ahead and leave me comments below if you have an opinion. Thank you for coming to my channel, and good night.